Have you ever asked, what is heaven? Is it another dimension, a paradise? Does it really even exist? We're all going to pass from this earth, and knowing what comes next can end the fear of death and bring you peace. Our goal here at Hello Heaven is to answer these questions and many more concerning the afterlife. Welcome to our podcast, Hello Heaven.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Hello Heaven. I'm Barry Strohm, your host. If you're interested in learning the truth about heaven, and this week about evil, you've come to the right place.
And I'm Connie Strohm, your co-host. Barry and I have been communicating with the spirits for over 10 years and have compiled a huge amount of information about the afterlife. We currently have 730 videos on our YouTube channel. It's in the name of Barry Strohm, and you can view our past shows as we bring you all aspects of the paranormal and the supernatural. Hello Heaven is broadcast on YouTube Live, as well as our personal Facebook page and our Facebook groups. Our most active Facebook group is Words of God, Then and Now, and all of our live videos and broadcasts are there. Audios of our broadcasts can be downloaded on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Google Podcast, Alexa, and many other platforms.
Okay, now tonight we're going to be discussing evil. It's something that affects our daily lives, permeates everything we do. We're not going to channel with any evil spirits tonight, but we are going to discuss evil energies with Laura, and at the end of the show, we're going to channel with Jesus and let him give a message concerning evil. Now, since we're going to be discussing evil, Connie is now going to say our prayer of protection, just in case an evil energy tries to be part of the show tonight.
God, please grant us your wisdom and protection. Grant us the knowledge that we can handle and keep us safe from all things that will harm us. Keep the messages positive and pure love. Keep us safe from our own egos. We ask these things in the light of the seen, the unseen, and the honesty of God. Amen. This is going to be a very educational show this evening. Laura, thank you for joining us again. Let's start off with, how would you define evil energy?
Evil energy can be very difficult to define, and there's not a single definition that applies to it. It is an energy that tends to lead you. Excuse me. It is an energy that tends to lead you away from God's energy. It can be in many forms. There are actually forms of evil energy, solid forms that can exist. It can be an energy that overtakes a human's energy. It can be an urge. It can be a desire. It can be something that you simply want to do that is going to take you away from God's teachings. Evil, there are many definitions of evil as well. So evil energy, I think, can best be defined as anything that takes you away from the teachings of God's words.
Yeah. Does Satan really exist?
No, Satan does not exist in a solid form, but Satan does exist as a concept. It exists in people's minds. You see, the churches needed some way through the years to depict evil energies. So they came up with this form, a guy in a red suit, and they also came up with hell. So they came up with many things that are the personification of evil energies. And Satan happens to be one of them, but he definitely does not exist in real form.
So what happens when a Satanist dies?
Well, first of all, a human that is a Satanist has destroyed their entire life by wasting it on something that doesn't exist. Evil energy does exist, but there is no form, and people should not worship evil energies. Now, when a Satanist dies, they do not believe there is a heaven. They think that life just simply ends, and that is the way it will be. They anticipate darkness, so when a Satanist dies, they will probably encounter darkness and nothingness. But they will at some point find out that there is more to it. They'll start to see a light, and an angel will come to them and tell them that they need to come with them, and they will take them up to their guides. And they will be totally astonished when they see the glories of heaven. But they will have to pay for the karmas that they created by being a Satanist. So they will probably be taken down to a lower level where their soul will have to exist with others that were stupid enough to worship Satan as well.
Does hell exist?
No. Hell is a concept that was created by the ancients. You see, Jesus never spoke of hell. He never said that there was this place that your soul would go. He always spoke positively. He spoke of love. He said that if you followed his words, then your soul would join him in heaven. But the religions of the time decided that they needed something a little bit more solid as an example. They wanted a place that they could threaten people with going, because they also wanted to be able to threaten them that they had to come to church in order to go to heaven. So there had to be this place in their logic that if they did not go to heaven, there had to be an alternative. They never realized that there were just simply different realms of heaven that souls go to.
Did God actually create evil energy?
Yes, he created evil energy as a test for humans. It is an energy that exists on your planet, on Earth, and it exists in many, many different forms. But evil energy is a test. It's a time that comes when you make the decision whether you want to choose right or wrong. If you choose evil energy, then, as I spoke earlier, you're going against God's words, and you're doing what he does not want you to do. But God, yes, he absolutely created evil energy. He created it so that he could continuously test humans. And if humans pass the test of doing right over wrong, then they are rewarded when they go to heaven. If they choose to follow the evil energies, then it is not a reward that they receive, but it is a penalty. And the penalty is that they go to levels that are lower where they were when they started.
Is there any evil energy in heaven?
No, there is no evil energy in heaven. Now, there are souls in the lower levels that continue their practices, but it is not because they're being influenced by evil energies. They're doing it more as a reflex because that is the way they live their lives, and they have free choice over in heaven, but they don't do it as a result of evil energies in heaven.
Is evil ever included in a life plan?
No. Evil is never included in a life plan. I'm not aware of any exceptions to that rule. Humans are sent back pure. If you look at the little baby, you understand what purity is. It has no knowledge. It does not have any information. It comes in to be taught. And it is the responsibility of the adults and parents of that child to teach the baby. But that baby does not possess evil energy at time of birth. Evil energies will attempt to affect it from its time of birth. It may do it through the parents. That baby may have parents that do not understand the words of God. That baby may have individuals around it that will mislead it. When peers are trying to take a child and lead it into gangs, they are being led by evil energies that have affected those gang members. So it is a learning process. Evil has to be learned, but the baby never has it when it's at time of birth.
As a human, is there any way to avoid evil energy?
No. There's absolutely no way that evil energies can be avoided. because the whole purpose of being a human is to be tested. You're sent back to be tested as to whether or not you are capable of following the words of God. And God makes sure that He understands, that you understand how He wants you to react. So, evil energies are everywhere. They take many, many different forms. Evil energy can affect your food supply. It may be that individuals have given animals hormones that are harmful to humans. And to eat that type of meat would create very problematic situations for the human that is eating it. So you see, there's many, many ways. Evil is everywhere. The simplest way to avoid evil is to not do anything against God's words. God says, do not do anything to anyone you do not want done to you. So as long as you follow those words, there's no evil involved in that. God's words are common sense. And when humans follow common sense, then evil energy, even though it is around them, will not penetrate their decision process.
Yeah. Are there any cultures in the galaxy that actually do not have evil energy?
Absolutely. Keep in mind that there are cultures in the galaxy that are millions of years old. They've gone through their formative years that Earth is currently going through. They learned the lessons of God. They found out that if you do not succumb to evil energies, then life is much better. It's much more enjoyable, and everyone finds happiness. So, yes, humans have only been around for a couple 100,000 years, so they have a lot of evolving to do to catch up with the cultures that have been around for millions of years. There are absolutely planets in the galaxy where there is no evil energy. And on those planets, the individuals are granted long lifetimes. You see, humans have short lifetime periods because God wants you to come back so that He can explain to you what you've done wrong and what you've done right. If you're on a planet where everything is going smoothly, there's no need for you to be brought back to heaven to be, shall we say, re-educated. Everything has a will and everything has a way. And there are many, many great planets in the galaxy that have simply learned all of God's lessons.
Could you explain what happens when an evil person dies?
There are different levels of evil. There are those that have created horrible situations for millions of people, like Hitler, like Stalin. Those are examples of individuals that are probably some of the most evil people that ever walked the earth. When those individuals died, they were in darkness. The angels came to them, took them to their guides, who told them that they would be immediately dispersed to the lowest level of heaven, a place of nothingness. Death for a truly evil person is not a great experience, where death for a good person is the greatest day of their life. So as you're living your life, you make your decisions how you want to be treated and what you want to happen to you at your time of passing. Your time of passing is inevitable. And in humans, it's not after many years. Humans have some of the shortest lifespans in the galaxy. And because they cannot ignore the presence of evil, then they pay the consequences.
Tell us about the place where the evilest people go in heaven.
There are 7 realms of heaven. The more evil people are in the lower realms, first, second, third realms, depending on what they've done, how they've lived their lives. But below the 7th realm, the 7 realms, is an area of nothingness It has an infinite capacity and can hold as many souls as are required to go there. So it is a place where there is total blackness. You are left alone to contemplate what you've done. You're left alone to contemplate how you're going to make it up to the people that you've harmed. You are left alone to understand truly the terrible things that you have done to put you in this place. And you must decide how you will repay the karma that you've created. Once you've come to the true conclusion that you're going to be a better person, that you will help others, and that you will make up for the karma that you created, then God will decide whether you are trying to mislead him or not. And if you truly want to begin the journey of advancement in heaven, then you will be allowed to create a life plan to come out of that lower level to go to the first level. And your life plan will be designed to help pay back the incredible amount of karma that you've created. It will not be a pleasant path back because repaying negative karmas can be very difficult. Today, you see people of great wealth that have refused to help others, and they create this karma where in future lives they must live lives of poverty so that they understand what it is like to need the help of the rich. So it's a very, very complicated process, but God truly knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does. Is there any way to avoid evil energy on our planet?
No, it cannot be avoided. As we discussed earlier, it is simply everywhere, and there's no way to avoid it. The only way is to fight against it, and you do that through prayer, through asking God to help deliver you, to be his servant, to do what he wishes of you, to tell you what your life plan is. Prayer is a great weapon for avoiding evil. The more that you pray to the angels, to the saints, or to God, the more you will have an understanding in just how to fight evil. Prayer can also be used as a means of protection. The prayer that you spoke earlier tonight would act as protection for energies, earthbound evil energies that might try to come through and to interrupt the conversations that we're currently having. It's a wonderful prayer. It's one that can be used by anyone. And it's a great way to protect yourself from evil.
Yes, we got our prayer from our guides. Do you think there will ever be a time that evil energies will actually cease to exist on Earth?
If Earth is to advance to the point that it needs to have the technologies to travel the stars and to obtain the same status as the other planets, yes. The problem is that humans now have weapons of mass destruction that are capable of destroying all life on the planet. Now we are trying to guide those people and to stop it from ever happening. But if free will takes over and those individuals truly desire to use those weapons, there's very little we could do. And there is always the possibility that human life will simply be wiped off the planet. And if that happens, then over the millennia, God will probably introduce a new species to Earth and try the evolution thing again. God's very patient. He knows what takes place. He knows everything that is going on. And he also understands that the whole important reason for free will is that humans are given the opportunity to determine their own future. So how they determine their future is totally up to humans. But if they do reach the point of advancement of the other cultures, they will have defeated evil energies in totality. That is the way of things.
Evil energy causes bad things to happen to good people sometimes. Why does God allow that to take place?
A good person returns to learn. A good person has lived many, many lifetimes. A good person has tried to follow God's words in the past. A good person does what it believed was required of him. But there are always other lessons to be learned. There are always ways that individuals can learn new lessons and to advance. So it may be that in his past lives, a good person has never been a caretaker for a person that has a young person with a disabling disease. So maybe their child is born requiring much care and much loving. It could be the first time in that individual's soul history that this has taken place. So something that seems very hard, like an individual may have a child with autism, very advanced, and is having a terrible time with it. But it learns that it loves that child like any other child. That is a lesson that it must learn from its examples. So a very, very good person can have things that are not so good in their lives, and it's a learning lesson. I'll give you the example of the Reverend Billy Graham. He led millions of people to God, but he died of Parkinson's disease. He had never, in his soul history, had Parkinson's before. So as he was becoming older in age, he encountered Parkinson's, and he continued to set a wonderful example for people, even though he knew he was dying of this terrible disease. So it is a lesson that he needed to learn, and he learned it admirably and helped others through all of the adversity. That is the key. You must always help others through when you are suffering adversity. You cannot let adversity defeat you. You can be a wonderful person and have difficult lessons to learn. It's not easy to understand when you see wonderful people have problems, but everyone has difficult lessons or they would not be humans.
That makes sense. There are people born who are psychopaths. Is that a part of their life plan?
No. No one is born a psychopath. No one is born with evil. But there can be problems with how a person matures in the womb. Situations can arise where cells do not mature in the way that we anticipate. There are situations that are truly beyond our control. And sometimes an individual is born with what you refer to as being a psychopath. He has no emotions because that part of the brain that deals with emotions has failed to mature in the way that we wanted it to do so. So there are mistakes. Life is never perfect. There are always situations that take place. It could also be that an evil energy interfered with that child in the womb and helped create a pattern, a mental pattern that resulted in the child being a psychopath. So there are many ways that things can go wrong, but it's not a perfect system. But many things do take place that are not anticipated, shall we say.
Yeah. If a person's an atheist, is that the result of evil energy?
Yes. A person had to learn atheism. A person, when it's young, has a choice. It is given information to make its own decisions. If a person is led to believe in the words of God, then that is the way it is to be. But many people, when they're young, are influenced by peers, by their parents. Quite often, parents don't believe in God and are on the wrong path. These children are led the wrong way. So the parents have a double responsibility. First of all, they made the decision to destroy their lives, but they've also influenced others not to believe in God as well, and have affected how those individuals lead their lives. So never try to influence another not to believe in God, because you are not only harming yourself, you are harming the person that you are influencing.
Yeah. Laura, we all put together our life plans with our guides, of course. But when someone's putting their life plan together, why would they choose that type of person for parents?
In many instances, parents change through life. Many of them change after they have a child. Many of them do not understand exactly what they should do and how to influence them. Sometimes parents have bad things happen to them and they decide that there is no God, that there is no way that this could ever be happening for God to allow this to take place. So there are many reasons why parents change. And it may be that a child has got to have a very important test young in its life. It may need to be tested early in life. So it may be given parents that are far from perfect. Sometimes when children have parents that are far from perfect, it strengthens them. And there may be instances where the young need to be strengthened by parents as a test. Everything is very complicated.
It certainly is. There are times when evil energy can take a physical form. How's that possible?
Evil energies can be very, very strong, and they can have the ability to form into shapes and those shapes can do terrible things. Some of the strongest evil energies are capable of forming, are capable of doing things. For instance, there was a time that you were in the shower and you were scratched with an open wound while you were in the shower. That was an evil energy trying to convince you to stop what you're doing. But your faith is your ultimate protection. So it was not allowed to do any more than what it did. The angels interceded and forced that energy to leave forever, and it has gone from your life. So there are many protections, but the greatest protection is your own service to God.
Yes, I remember when I got out of the shower and saw what it had done. I said, "Oh, I must be doing something right." So, what is the best way to rid a home of an evil energy, Laura?
The best way to rid a home of an evil energy is through prayer. You can pray, and if you have a very, very strong foundation of faith, the angels will intercede and try to remove that energy from the home. Sometimes evil energy are so strong that it takes a specialist in order to come in, an exorcist. Exorcists generally have an incredibly strong foundation and a religious background and a faith in God. They know how to treat the energy, and they know the proper prayers to use to remove it from a home. Generally, simple prayer, if you are a believer, will work. Now, if you're an atheist and you have evil energy in your home, you could have a real problem because you have no foundation of faith upon which to build. People with strong foundations serve God and have many, many protections. There's no substitute for that foundation.
Laura, could you give us a prayer to remove evil energies?
I can do that. Try this. Father, I know that you control all things. Please protect this home from the evil energy that resides here. Please drive it from our home as you drive evil energy from our hearts. I know that my faith in you is unshaken. And please help remove this energy. Amen.
Thank you, Laura. That was some very interesting as well as educational information. Barry's now going to channel Jesus, and he will give us a message about the evil energy.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I did truly create evil energy as a test for humans. I also created free will as a test for humans. The combination of free will and evil energy is critical for humans to learn to make the proper decisions, to follow my words and my teachings. Evil energy is definitely a terrible thing. But humans need to have challenges in order to learn. Without learning, there is no way that you can advance in my realms when you return. Evil energy can be controlled. If you pray to me or my saints or my angels and ask for protection and truly believe, then we will offer you protection. Perhaps you are faced with challenges in your life, and a certain decision will lead you to evil energies, and a decision may be the right one for you to remain true to my teachings. We will help you make the right decision. You must pray to us. Without prayer, we do not know what is deep in your heart. Yes, we can do things to help, and we can do things to create challenges for you. But if you do not pray, then it is very difficult for us to know what is taking place. Prayer is critical for everyone. Prayer will help us lead you away from evil energies. How do you recognize evil energies in your life? Well, it is anything that is trying to take you away from my advice and my teachings. The key to my teachings is simply not to do anything to anyone that you do not want done to you. Whenever a situation arises, put yourself in the other person's position and act accordingly. If you do that, you can be relatively sure that evil energy has been defeated. Now, if you're an evil person and you try to do that test, you will probably fail. Because if you treat a person with evil intent, then that person will probably treat you with evil intent. If you show anger towards a person, then that person will, in all probability, show anger towards you. If you are jealous and try to undermine an individual, say there is someone at work that you know is doing a great job and you would like to have their job, even though you possibly could not do as well, and you do things to undermine that person, you are succumbing to evil energies. And you are doing things that when you return, your guides will instruct you in how you failed in those tests. Evil energy is exactly what we call it, evil. There's no good thing about evil energy. People that worship Satan are creating terrible, terrible karma for themselves. People that mislead the young away from me are succumbing to evil energies, and they also are creating karmas that will not have positive effects when they return to my heaven. Evil energy is truly a very, very complex energy. It is everywhere. It is on your TVs. It is on your computers. Wherever you get information, you can rest assured that in many instances you're being lied to. You must be able to determine the truth. And when you follow the truth, then you are defeating evil energy. I could go on and on with many different examples of how evil energy has destroyed millions of lives. But those that have succumbed are paying the penalty of what they have done. There is no hiding when you return to heaven. You cannot lie to your guides, and you cannot mislead us. We know what is in your heart when you return, and we know how you've lived your life. We know many things about you, much more than you may even know about yourself. But one thing that you can be assured of is you will be amazed at the details that we can tell you about your life as you lived it. Each of you must influence others to avoid evil energies. Each of you must simply use common sense. And each of you need to build this foundation of faith of which I speak. Faith, it requires faith to believe in me because you will never see me. Most people will never hear me. But your life will be affected by my people, my spirits, my energies that serve me. So you must understand that even though you are hearing my words today and you've never heard them before, that I am truly real and I truly exist. And there's nothing more that I want than to help you find happiness and for you to do what is necessary in your lives. For when you return, I want you all to advance. I would love to have all of you in my upper level. I would love for all of you to discover the true miracles of heaven that only those that have served me are capable of knowing. Evil energy is something that must be defeated. Only you know when something is evil. Only you can make the decision to ask those of us who are available for help to allow you to defeat evil energy. The young, as Laura said, the babies do not have any evil energy. It is all learned. What you must do is to help them learn what is right and what is wrong. And if you do that, then the evil energies will not affect the young. And human evolution will evolve at an immensely more rapid pace. It all comes down to what the young are taught, because they become the leaders of the future. If all of the leaders have a foundation in me, then your evolution will be miraculous. So I hope this short message helps you understand just how I feel about things. I truly love all humans. There's a spark of my energy in everyone. And I even love those that speak against me, because I know that my spark is there. They can always return to my energies. The most evil person can return to that spark of my love and my spark of understanding, and know that they can change their lives for the better simply by following my words. So thank you for allowing me to come through. I know that I've been speaking to you more recently, but I think it is very important humans need to understand how important it is that they follow my words and that they do it as rapidly as possible. So goodbye. I bless all of you that listen to this show. I bless all of you that follow my words, and I especially bless all of you that try to tell the words that I speak to others. So goodbye, and I thank you very much. Okay, folks, that's about all you're going to learn about evil today. I know I learned something, so it's, I don't know how important that is, but I hope that you all learned it as well. So thank you, Father. We hope that people listening to your words truly pay attention to your messages. There's nothing more important for them to do. If you would like to participate on our show, please send an email to onestrohm@gmail.com. It's a tough message. And describe the story of the supernatural, who you'd like to channel, and what your questions are for the other side. I'll get back to you and set up a time to record. You'll need a decent camera and microphone since this is for YouTube and Facebook Live. My new book, Jesus the Missing Years, is now available for sale on Amazon and my websites, barrystrohm.com and spiritspredict.com. The book explains in detail why there's little in the Bible about the missing 33 years in the life of Jesus from his birth to the beginning of his ministries. Connie and I channeled 24 different spirits close to Jesus during his lifetime to bring you this book. It's available in softcover, ebook, audiobook, and hardcover on Amazon. Signed copies are only available on my websites. If you'd like to help us spread God's words by giving his book to others, we're offering huge discounts for bulk purchases on barrystrohm.com.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Hello Heaven. Please join us on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live on Barry's personal page and in our Facebook groups on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The audio of our shows can be heard on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Alexa, Spotify, iHeart, and all the major platforms. So please tell your friends about our shows. They're all meant to prove the existence of an afterlife and God and to bring you peace.
Okay, I'd like to also thank all of you for listening to our show. As Connie said, our goal is to bring you the true information about the afterlife and help you find peace and happiness. Everyone's going to pass from this earth, and the more you know about the journey of the soul, the less you have to fear. So please tell your friends about our show. You'll be doing them a great favor. So goodbye, and thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Hello Heaven. Please join us Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube and Facebook. You can hear us on multiple audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Alexa, and other media platforms as well. If you'd like to appear on the show, send an email to onestrohm@gmail.com and tell us your story. Have a great week. Tell your friends about our show. They'll thank you for it. Music is by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com.